So a very good afternoon to our guest for this video interaction, Mr. Ashwath Ram. Mr. Ram is Managing Director for Cummins India and Tata Cummins Private Limited. He is also the Vice President, India Area Business Organization at Cummins. Thank you so much for sparing your time and talking to us, Mr. Ram.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. Thank you for.
Thank you so much. Sure. So Cummins probably needs no introduction as a company, as a brand. You've been in India for decades. The brand itself globally is over 100 years old, a very, very famous, respected brand in the global automotive field. In India, Cummins is known to design, manufacture, distribute, and service engines and related technologies. Having said that, engine is a very, very important topic given the BS6 transition that our market has seen from April 1st. But before we go into the BS6 topic, Mr. Ram, can we have your views on the current situation at Cummins India with respect to the COVID pandemic and what kind of impact has it had on your business? If you can give us a brief overview to start with.
Sure. So I'll first give you an update on where we are as far as all of our plants are concerned. In the automotive side of the business, we have engine plants as well as we have components plants. And I would say on an average now, most of them are open and are operating at about 30% of capacity. So like some areas are operating more shifts than others, but I would roughly say we are at 30% operational efficiency as of today, and as every week passes, it's getting a little better. Of course, COVID has had an impact because we've not produced very much since the middle of March, almost nothing till about a week ago. So we've had full 2 months almost of impact from a sales perspective. So certainly we are going to feel the impact of that. And as business comes back, I don't believe it's going to just come back very, very quickly. It's going to take some time, especially in the kind of business we are in, which is powertrain, which is used in capital equipment, in the medium and heavy commercial vehicles, buses, all of those kinds of applications. I think it's going to take a little bit of time before we get back to a new normal.
Right. Having said that, every crisis obviously poses a lot of challenges for all the stakeholders involved as far as the industry is concerned. Let's talk about the commercial vehicle and the off-highway space, two main segments which Cummins operates in. What do you think are the key challenges which the OEMs and the component suppliers typically have to face during this crisis? And also, what do you think we can do best to actually first survive this crisis and then probably come out stronger than before once things start to settle down?
Right. To give you a little bit of background, this industry, both the off-highway and the on-highway industries have been going through a bit of a crisis. I mean, the crisis began in October timeframe of 2018 with the NBFC financing problem. It was then accelerated with the overloading norms, which allowed every commercial vehicle to be able to operate retroactively with 20% greater overload. That was followed up by the cut down in infrastructure spending due to the elections, then the whole election timeline, and so the industry has faced one setback after another. And so 2019 was already a pretty weak year, as the industry also had to spend a huge amount of money to develop transition from BS4 to BS6, which it has done in record time. In 3 years, it has gone from BS4 to BS6, which this kind of transformation has not happened in any other country around the world. So we were facing severe headwinds, and coming into 2020, we were thinking we would have a weak year, but not so weak because we had already planned for transition of the technology. All our big investments were behind us, and so we thought with a stable economy we could get back to a growth cycle maybe by the middle to end of this year. But with the COVID crisis, this has taken a further setback. I think the on-highway market will at least 12 to 18 months, in my view, to get back to the 2018 kinds of levels that we were in. And as far as the off-highway market is concerned, it is very heavily dependent on infrastructure spending. And we have seen a lot of infrastructure spending slow down over the last 18 months. And if all of that spending is again started, the kinds of discussions the government has had about enhancing the infrastructure spending, if that happens and the money gets into the ground, then that industry, the off-highway industry, can bounce back pretty quickly. But these kinds of aspects, most of the incentives provided to the industry to recover have been on the supply side. And my view is that with not having too much incentive on the demand side, even that portion of the industry will take a minimum of 6 to 9 months, or at least end of Q3, early Q4 of this financial year before that industry can also recover. Now, what we can do and what we are trying to do, I'll dwell upon that a little bit. We have been cutting costs. We have taken some strict measures earlier in the year when we anticipated that things could be slowing down. We already reduced our headcount by over 15%. We have then cut wages for all of our employees. We are deferring all of their merit increases, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that every individual in the company is contributing from a cost optimization perspective. We are focusing on working capital. We have cut back on capex. We have cut back on spend of every form. We have a very strong balance sheet, so we have a good line of credit and cash available with us. So we are not in trouble in any form, but just to get revenue going and to sustain this growth, we are going to have to focus a lot on cost.
Right, so very true. I mean, I think the financial implications of this entire pandemic and the slowdown, I think that's something that needs a lot of attention as well. And the picture which you gave on the on-highway commercial and the off-highway segment, I think anybody in the industry would obviously agree. Going by what was happening even before this entire COVID pandemic, we were already going through a very, very difficult phase. This has only made it worse. So very true. From a government perspective, what do you think the government can do? You did make a mention of the demand being very, very important to actually drive some kind of a recovery in the market. What do you think the government should or can do to actually help sentiments in the market and also drive a little bit of demand?
Yeah, so Cummins is a member of SIAM, CII, and other organizations, and we have been making recommendations to the government as a group to help revive this industry, which literally provides millions of jobs. It's the largest employer in the manufacturing sector. And my view is the government can do quite a few things which the industry is asking for. The first and foremost is to introduce a scrappage policy. If we want clean air, but if you've got BS 1, 2, 3, and 4 vehicles running on the roads, the air is not going to get clean, even if we introduce BS 6 vehicles. There must be some incentive for people to, scrap those old vehicles and introduce new vehicles. in the past, even when there was a crisis, for example, in 2007-2008 period, the government introduced some lower rates of excise duty. So similarly, some lower rates on GST, for example, could help. Some clarity and flexibility on labor laws, some more flexibility on being able to utilize EOUs and DTAs. Maybe some credits to help with promoting R&D and bringing business into this country. Maybe some continuance of export credits. So, you know, those 4 or 5 kinds of things would probably, I mean, we have a laundry list of maybe 15, 20 different things. But of the top 4 or 5 that come to mind, I would say these would be it.
Right, sir. Definitely. I think scrappage policy probably is on top of the list for most of the OEMs and the suppliers and other stakeholders. I think it's very, very clear and obvious that that is the main initiative or policy that can actually drive demand. We only hope that the government will also probably take necessary action on those lines.
Right.
Let's move a little bit into BS6, and then we'll come back to the COVID pandemic. As we discussed, April 1st, 2020, the Indian market transitioned to BS6, a record of sorts, because we did the transition in 3 years, which has never been done by any other market in the world. Unfortunately, the first month of BS6, we also had a dubious record that there was 0 vehicle sales. That was something which is never even heard of anywhere in the globe, including in India. Firstly, what do you think will be the impact of the pandemic on the BS6 transition? How do you think they would be linked? Obviously, there's going to be a price hike in BS6, but that was something which everybody knew beforehand. But do you think this pandemic will have any kind of impact on BS6? That's one. And you can also talk to us about Cummins' readiness for BS6 in India, if you can give us a brief on that.
Yeah, so I'll start off with the impact of COVID on BS6. Certainly, it has a major impact because we were planning a smooth transition. We had phased out inventory, and we were planning that we will have 0 inventory by early March. We'll start ramping up BS6 production, and then by the time April comes, we would have ramped up our production of BS6. Come 20th March or somewhere around that frame, we shut everything. So one is we were not able to completely eliminate all our BS4 transitions, and that inventory is going to hit us a little bit, even though we had significant planning, and so we are not significantly impacted by that transition. But we have invested significantly for BS6. As Cummins, we have invested close to 1,100 crores in BS6. It partly is for the technology of BS6 and that development. We have also in new capex for setting up upgraded factories with more capacity. And we made a lot of investments in emissions technology. We brought in and set up a brand new emissions technology plant, which is a state-of-the-art plant to deal with this latest technology. So all of that, is been underutilized and going to remain underutilized for a while, because not only is demand low, there is an increase in prices. So people are going to put off buying capital equipment till they meet up with all their other needs are met up. Their companies are sustainable businesses. Their transport demand has increased. Only when all of those needs are met will they, look to borrow money and invest in new capital equipment. So we were hoping to, ramp up and start recovering a lot of this money we have invested quickly. That's not going to happen. That's going to take a much longer time frame to happen. I would say we have been set back by about a year based on the impact of COVID. As far as Cummins' readiness from BS6, as you know, Cummins is the leading technology player as far as emissions technology is concerned, and Cummins had already introduced BS6 equivalent engines and products around the world in countries like Europe and North America as early as 2003, 2007. That time frame is when the equivalent technology which we are using now had already been introduced. And so we've had nearly more than a decade and many millions of engines out in the field to validate, to test, to improve on. And so India is getting the absolute state-of-the-art latest technology which Cummins has developed in the world with lots of learning. We feel we are better prepared than everybody else in this market. Our engines have done over 7 million miles on Indian roads itself under all conditions. And every learning we have gotten from that, we have incorporated into the product. So we feel very, very confident about our readiness. We have tremendous capacity. We have more scale than everybody else. We have as much scale as, today we have as much scale as greater than the overall demand of the entire market. So, we have that kind of scale available that gives us a lot of advantages in terms of cost, in terms of, being able to meet the needs of OEMs for every specific niche and special conditions that they have. We've set up a huge component care center network because some of these components we are introducing, like the after treatment, are being introduced with this complexity for the first time in India. And no OEMs have the ability to be able to service these kinds of specialist products. So Cummins on its own has set up 150 plus component care centers, and eventually we'll get to 200 plus component care centers where we can service, support, and take care of all of this equipment. So we really feel good and confident about the way we will do in this market once the demand starts coming up. We are very confident with our readiness. This is probably the most thorough new product introduction we have ever done in the Indian market, and we feel good about it.
Brilliant. A lot of confidence despite all the setbacks and challenges in the market. One quick query on how many engines do you think you have in place? Would you be able to share that for BS4? And do you think exports would be an option for exhausting that stock?
Not many, a couple of thousand, and we already have demand for export for some of those. So it's not even a concern anymore. We got to thank our planning teams both at OEM side and internally who did not want a recurrence of the situation we faced in 2017. So the pre-planning for this had been going on for more than a year. So we are pretty well off right now.
And that's glad to hear. Definitely, I think the BS3 to BS4 transition would have been a very good, probably learning for the entire industry. I think this time around, the planning has been pretty much better across the industry, and glad to note that it's the same with Cummins.
I can add a little bit of light there.
Sure.
The good BS6 from our perspective is that this technology brings us on par to the rest of the world. So it's no longer that India is making lagging emission products as compared to other markets. This certainly opens up the world as far as Cummins from India is concerned. Already Cummins in India is one of the three major sourcing and manufacturing hubs for Cummins around the world. So Cummins, as part of its global supply chain strategy, has got three major hubs in the world. One, of course, is in the home country of America, North America, the US. The second is China, where also we have a very, very major presence. And the third is India. And the combination of these three countries is how the needs of Cummins, which serves over 150 different countries, are met. And certainly, as India and Indians, we have a great advantage compared to even our other two locations. We have the best cost structure in India, even compared to China. And we have been working very closely with China to export products from India and support them as their demand comes up, and be a good partner from a supply perspective. So the opportunities are there. They are opening up more. It will depend a lot on how quickly we can ramp up, because customers globally are not going to wait around for India to gradually open and things like that. So if there is demand and we are not unable to meet it, they will find a way to take it from other markets, even at a higher cost. So that's the risk we have if the lockdowns don't start opening up faster now. I think we may lose some opportunities.
True, sir. Since you touched upon exports, I'd also like to ask you the COVID aspect, the COVID impact. You can share whatever you can actually convey from your standpoint. Do you see a shift in preference from China to India in any way for supplying to other global markets which are relevant to China and India? Do you see in any way a shift from China to India? This is a very important topic that's been discussed about.
So as of now, I see a window of opportunity to shift some business to India if we are able to demonstrate that we can get out of this kind of lockdown and act in a business friendly manner. If we do not act about it, and this has not been demonstrated by us as of today. So as of today, the opportunities will go to countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Korea and other places, because those countries have opened up their economy completely. They have made it flexible, easy to do business. The labor laws are very friendly over there to enact business. So even if India had an attractive cost base, the other ease of doing business in India is worse than many of those countries. So if we can't improve on that quickly, we will not get this opportunity.
Right. So ease of doing business and also the prolonged lockdown that's happened that we're seeing,
yes,
actually,
certainly,
I think
certainly.
These are definitely challenges that we should be overcoming soon, hopefully.
See, because this industry relies on dependability and ability to be able to perform and deliver. Now, if as a manufacturer everything is unknown, everything depends on the whims and fancy of a district police officer or a district magistrate, or if the entire country is not free to work, you don't have that ability to assure 100% commitment on a delivery. And if global customers don't see that kind of commitment, they will not take a chance. They will either continue to work with China, or they will go to other places which have that flexibility.
True, sir. Very true. I think this is definitely an area we should be addressing,
Yes.
in particular for capital equipment, like as you mentioned, capital equipment like engines. Right?
And we have a great opportunity, and so we are requesting at every forum the government to try to understand where we are coming from. It's not that industry doesn't care about health and safety. As a matter of fact, industry is better provisioned to care about the health and safety of their employers, their suppliers' employers, than even what the government has in terms of resources. We've got the learning from multiple countries around the world. We have opened 100% of our factories in the rest of the world are open as compared to India. So it's not like, we don't value our employees or we don't value for the health. I think there's a lot of fear and misinformation floating around. And I think it's up to us in the industry and the government to very, very quickly overcome those and, get on with business.
Rightly said, sir. I think I would definitely second your views, because we had interactions with a couple of other global suppliers who are operating in India, they had pretty much a very, very similar view, especially with respect to how they've handled this lockdown. They also expressed a lot of confidence on, being able, being an MNC actually gives them a lot of advantage, a lot of global learnings. Actually, I would completely agree with you on that. Right.
And here's an opportunity. These opportunities don't come along many times, and everyone understands how difficult it is from a central government to, just to be able to handle a complicated country like India. But finally, the success is in being able to do it. I am. The industry is 100% confident that it'll step up given the right opportunities.
Very true. So I think the government is probably trying its bit, but there's always a lot more it can be doing to actually strike the right balance, for sure. Sure. Staying with BS6, Tata Cummins is an entity that is, you are the managing director of the same. What about your customers in the OEM side, on the on-highway side? Apart from Tata Motors, are you working with anybody? That's one. Second part of the question, Cummins is offering an integrated solution, not just the engine, but you're also offering the after treatment system. Are you also offering the after treatment system alone to any customers? Are you in a discussion or already offering it to say with respect to India?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is that every time emissions get tougher, Cummins around the world has always benefited. Cummins around the world has got more partnerships and strategic alliances with OEMs than any other manufacturer, being an independent diesel engine manufacturer. So while we have partnerships with many big players, many of them have their own products, and we also supply to many of their competitors' products, which are jointly sourced. As the diesel engine industry is evolving to this environment of case, which is connectivity, automation, the Uberization subscription model, and electrification, the auto OEMs and the big OEMs need to be spending and are spending strategically more and more of their R&D resources into those areas. This has presented Cummins significant more opportunities in the last few years, and many more doors have opened up for the future. Where some things we have announced, like for example, we have a strategic alliance now with Isuzu. We have announced that, but there are many others that we are working on which we have not yet announced. Similarly, in India, as far as supply of diesel engines is concerned, we are talking to all the OEMs. We have some business already signed up with a few beyond our primary partner, Tata Motors. And we will be announcing them as they fructify and as they gain more momentum. But certainly we are confident that because of the kind of product innovation technology that we are bringing in, that more doors will open up, and as the technology gets more sophisticated, even more opportunities will open up for Cummins. As far as emissions systems are concerned, yes, for the joint venture, we are supplying a complete integrated system along with the after treatment. So those whom we supply the whole powertrain from the joint venture, we will be supplying the complete system. And we are also integrating and selling these systems independently to some of the other OEMs. So there is one large OEM to whom we are selling the entire system. And then there are other OEMs who are global partners of Cummins to whom we sell bits and components. So for example, the after treatment consists of many things. It has a dozer, it has a SCR. There are so many different components of it. We sell them some pieces of it, and we help them with the integration. So to answer your question, yes, we have expanded that business pretty significantly, and we will be one of the major players in the market for that product.
Wonderful. That's good to note. I also presume you are not in a position to share names of the OEM customers, both for engines and the after.
It'll come out. So it'll come out soon. You know, I don't want,
Right,
I don't want
right,
to feel the thunder from the
right,
OEM.
right.
You know, all I can tell you is we have invested in Fulton to set up an after treatment plant to produce 400,000 systems.
Wow, wow.
We would not put in that kind of investment were it only for, you know, 1 or 2 customers. So you can take that as a, you know, a guidance of where we are going with that.
Wonderful. I think that's a good indicator as well. And also, after treatment systems in itself gives you a lot of export opportunities as well. Now that we are touching BS6 levels in India, right?
Right, and especially if we can do it at a price point where you know, we can be cost competitive in the world. So, which means at engines we were always the most cost competitive in the world. You know, we are better than China. We are better than every other market in the world from a cost perspective. From in my view, be the most cost optimized system in the world. So again, it should open up more opportunities for us around the world.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Right. Obvious question will be on electromobility. In India as well, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of collaborations, a lot of startups coming in. Specific to the commercial vehicle space, we know and we are following what Cummins is doing. We were there at Busworld, Belgium last year. There was a lot of focus on electrification from Cummins. The new battery electric system from Cummins was one of the highlights of the show. What is your take on India's e-mobility drive, and what is Cummins' role in the same?
I think this journey is going to keep continuing and growing. It's not going to slow down, but our view has always been that it is not going to be across the board for all applications. We have always felt that it is going to start off in the two-wheeler space, move to the three-wheeler within city space, then it will move to small commercial vehicles, and then gradually move to buses in parallel, areas which have got limited mobility zones and where charging infrastructure can be built in a cost-efficient manner. So that's where our focus is. That's why, as you mentioned, we were in Busworld, and it has been difficult for us in India. We have the price points and the performance guarantees given by some of the manufacturers and the OEMs do not align with the reality we have seen by Cummins in other markets. So some of those suppliers, and I don't want to name those suppliers, have made some commitments. And if you look at the real data which we measure in our cities in India, the actual performance is closer to 50 to 60% of what they have committed, rather than the 100% of what. So the financial model doesn't yet make enough money from Cummins' perspective. So we are exploring options. We are exploring options to supply components, exploring options to do some prototype work. And as you know, we have also invested very heavily in fuel cells. And we are also in the pilot stages of some projects with some of the OEMs to introduce those products. We have introduced those products in other parts of the world. We own now a very large hydrogen company called Hydrogenics, where we are looking at e-mobility solutions for different applications, along with automotive also at other applications. And we have made more progress on that than most other OEMs. So we continue to explore this area and continue to invest in this area. But we think it's going to be a gradual journey, and when we can compare apples to apples, I think we will that we can lead in this market as well. So that's where we are. But we are open, and we are looking at options and building up our capabilities, our portfolio. We have a full new product engineering team based out of our tech center in Pune, which has now about 40 or 50 engineers who are doing work for the rest of the world. So when we need to localize and when we need to do some of those things, we will be ready.
Right, sir. So what I understand from a technology perspective, when it comes to electromobility, I think Cummins is prepared. It'll be interesting to see how things unfold in the long term.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think this whole price of oil coming down and all of that is a huge setback for that industry. We've got to see how it. But like I said, we see the future. We are investing very, very, very heavily in that, and we will continue to keep watching the market and taking the right moves when appropriate.
Right, sir. Makes sense. A little bit back to the COVID pandemic. We spoke at length about the challenges. A setback to the industry roughly by around a year is what you indicated. Very poor demand from the market, a lot of investment that went in from Cummins, and it's going to be delayed returns. That is the challenge part of it. But there are always opportunities from every crisis, from every difficulty, recession. So what, according to you, Mr. Ram, would be, if you can list out the top 3 opportunities this COVID pandemic has actually given to the industry and also to Cummins in particular?
I'll talk about Cummins first. The biggest opportunity for Cummins is a global company, and so lot of the investments we make globally. And so we are able to leverage our scale of manufacturing and our scale of research and development as well. To give you an example, we have developed and introduced, for example, a 9-liter product in India. And the entire market for 9-liter products in India is maybe 2,000 vehicles. Okay. And so, but Cummins globally produces about 150,000 engines in that market, and the entire market size is 200,000. Now, other OEMs, even if they are large OEMs, their market, their market size in a market like India is very, very small. So they are not going to be able to make those investments. So OEMs cannot make every niche investment that is required to meet all their needs. And so while historically there has been a lot of corporate pride in their own product, we will not outsource. We want, there are a lot of individual and pride. I think with not having enough cash flow and not having this pandemic is going to force companies to work collaboratively with companies like Cummins, to work on technologies, to partner, to do what you are good at, let us do what we are good at, and give us opportunities and entries which we never had before. That's the first big opportunity. The second opportunity we spoke about earlier is the exports opportunity. Our supply chain is strong. We have scale and capacity. We have an amazing cost base, great quality. So we have opportunities to become an exporter to the world. We already have begun that journey, and I think there are many more opportunities there. The third opportunity is to relook at the way we do business, to look at our whole organization structure, the cost structure, to look at, does everybody really need to go and sit in offices, and do we need to have so many offices? Look at that overall way we do business. Can we do more? Can salespeople have to go door to door to sell? Can we move to more e-based selling? Can we use the telematics boxes that we are putting on 100% engines in BS6, which we being the first company to do that with the most advanced telematics box? Can we do the rich data analysis? We have what we call a global analytics center, located right here in India, where we can take all of that data to use a lot of the tools we have developed, algorithms we have developed to do predictive analytics. We are already talking about doing over-the-air calibration, real-time improvement, so we can do product enhancement on the fly, do real-time monitoring of equipment, provide better service and support. So all of these are opportunities which this pandemic will enable for us. There are many more, but I certainly look at this as a glass half full. Cummins is a very old company. We have seen many crises before. We have a very strong balance sheet. We have got amazing talent, people. We have made the investments ahead of demand now. So, all the big investments which we had to do, we have done, because over the last, the 10 years preceding, we have invested close to $1 billion in India. So we believe in India. We have been in India for 6 years. We've got an amazing service and support network. So I think all of this represents opportunities to, even in a weak market, to gain market share and grow. So I'm really optimistic and bullish for Cummins. And if the OEMs and other manufacturers think in that manner, think collaboratively, think what is my core business? Should I really be, making connecting rods and crankshafts when my main job is to try to develop the next new truck or design the next new bus and do those things? Should I be investing? Should I have thousands of engineers to do that fundamental work when others have already done it? When I don't have scale to leverage, should I continue to do those kinds of things? I think if they think in that manner, there will always be an opportunity for even the OEMs, because if they can, India is a low cost base, they can produce great product at a low cost. Markets around the world will open up. They have to meet the cost quality, standards of the world, and this BS6 allows them an opportunity to do that.
That was really fantastic, sir. I just taking a pause and recollecting. I really liked the way you listed out the various challenges the industry is actually facing. You are very honest about the kind of daunting challenge we have ahead of us. But I should say this: the opportunities which you actually listed out were even more impressive. I think first you touched upon the importance of a specialist. Cummins being a specialist on the engine side. I think if the industry can focus on letting specialists do their specialist job, I think everybody benefits. And I think we were looking at top 3 opportunities. I think you listed out many more. So definitely, I think with the right mindset and right attitude, I think companies would definitely be able to come out of this crisis, all guns blazing. So that was very impressive, sir. We'll probably come to the last part where we go slightly look at the medium to long term. Let's start with the current financial year. How has Cummins India's plans and targets for the current financial year changed because of the pandemic? Whatever you can share. And also an outlook for the medium to long term. What kind of impact do you think COVID will have on the medium to long term business prospects in the Indian market, both for Cummins and also for the market as a whole?
Yeah, so I can't share numbers at this time because we are in the blackout zone at this stage. But certainly we have, when you don't sell anything for a couple of months, your business is impaired. So we are going to have to come back from that, and we are going to have to scale up. I can tell you that certainly the 2 months loss will not be recoverable. So that's an indication. But we are seeing a few opportunities open up from an exports perspective. So those are some rays of hope. But the other markets, especially because we play a very big part in capital markets. So where the government is there, etc., certainly those markets will revive very quickly. Government can pump in money, and those markets we see we can even catch up. We can do faster. But where there is large capital equipment, especially in commercial real estate or for let's say in our power generation business for the sale of large gensets and those. We think it's going to take some time. I cannot predict that well. Maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a very gradual. The commercial vehicle market is more deeply impacted. It will take much longer. If it will take at least 6 months longer than most other types of industries.
Right. How does it change your medium to long term business plans? Any change of the medium to long term from Cummins side?
Not see, the way we look at short term, we look at is at 12 to 15 months. Medium term, we look at 15 to 20, 30 months, and beyond 30 months is what we look at long term. And we recently completed a strategy conclave where we looked at the plans, and then we have come up with more ideas on how to bridge the setback we've had this year, and how to bridge the gaps for the long term. And we remain confident that we will be able to meet our long term business plans well.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. We'd like to end with a few concluding remarks from your side for anybody who's watching this video across platforms, across the globe, not just in India. Your message maybe during this crisis and lockdown, if you want to share a message with everybody.
Yeah, this is an unprecedented time for the whole world, but the people are resilient, and especially Indians are extremely resilient, and they are survivors. They just need to be given the opportunity to go back to work and do what they need to do, and we will bounce back very, very quickly. We are very familiar with all the processes and the safety precautions that we need to take to maintain the safety and security of our employees, and we are implementing all of those procedures. They are now well documented in India, so everyone should access those procedures and take this matter seriously, but focus on the opportunities, focus on improving their company, improving their business, restructuring, take the time out to improve oneself, be a better person. And I think we'll come back stronger than ever before.
Brilliant, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashwath Ram. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, listening to you as well, and hearing your insights on the pandemic, on this crisis, and how all of us in the industry can actually come out of it with the right kind of an attitude. Yeah. Thank you so much.
We really love to in the future to have you come and visit our factories, come and visit our tech center, etc., where there's the real fun and the real visuals are in watching how these things happen, how these products work in the field. So we'll be glad to show you some of those, and it'll be pretty exciting.
Definitely, sir. We look forward to that situation, and it would also mean that we're actually ready to travel after this lockdown. So personally, I would look forward to that happening as well, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
Take care. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you so